A dramatic legal earthquake has just shaken Australia, and it's a decision that is already sending shockwaves across the country and beyond. In a powerful and unexpected move, the nation's highest court has ordered the immediate removal of ankle monitoring bracelets and the end of strict curfew conditions for 43 former immigration detainees, marking a major turning point in how such individuals are treated under the law. The ruling comes as a direct challenge to government-imposed restrictions that had kept these individuals under tight surveillance, even after their release into the community. For months, these individuals were required to wear electronic monitoring devices and follow strict curfews, limiting their movement and daily lives. But now, in a stunning reversal, those controls have been deemed unlawful. The court's decision signals that such measures may have gone too far, raising serious constitutional and human rights concerns. Authorities are now under intense pressure to respond quickly, as the ruling takes immediate effect and leaves officials scrambling to adjust their policies. The government had argued that these restrictions were necessary to ensure public safety and maintain control over individuals whose immigration status remained unresolved. But the court has now drawn a clear line, indicating that such broad and ongoing limitations cannot be justified without stronger legal grounds. This has instantly ignited a fierce national debate, with critics warning about potential risks to community safety, while supporters are celebrating the decision as a landmark victory for civil liberties and the rule of law. The individuals affected by this ruling are now experiencing a sudden and dramatic shift in their daily lives, gaining freedoms that had previously been restricted under strict supervision measures. As the news spreads, legal experts are weighing in, describing the decision as one of the most significant immigration-related rulings in recent years, with potential implications that could extend far beyond the current group of 43 individuals. The ruling also raises urgent questions about how similar cases will be handled in the future, and whether existing laws will need to be rewritten or reinterpreted to align with the court's findings. Meanwhile, political leaders are facing mounting pressure to explain how such policies were implemented in the first place and what steps will now be taken to address the court's concerns. As the impact of this decision continues to unfold, the focus is now shifting toward what happens next and how authorities will manage the immediate and long-term consequences of the ruling. Law enforcement agencies and immigration officials are now working rapidly to comply with the court's adage, removing monitoring devices and lifting curfews without delay, while also assessing any potential risks associated with the sudden change. The situation is evolving quickly, and there is a growing sense of urgency as officials attempt to balance the court's directive with ongoing public safety concerns. At the same time, the ruling is expected to trigger broader legal challenges, as other individuals in similar situations may now seek to have their restrictions lifted as well, potentially expanding the scope of the decision far beyond the initial group. This could place additional strain on the legal system, as courts may soon be flooded with new cases testing the limits of the ruling. The government, meanwhile, is under increasing scrutiny, with opposition figures and advocacy groups demanding transparency and accountability. Questions are being raised about whether alternative measures will be introduced to replace the now invalidated restrictions, and if so, whether those measures will withstand legal scrutiny. Some officials have hinted at the possibility of new legislation aimed at addressing the gaps exposed by the court's decision, but any such move is likely to face intense debate and opposition. Public reaction has been sharply divided, reflecting deep tensions over immigration policy and national security. While some citizens express concern about the potential risks associated with reduced monitoring, others argue that the ruling reinforces fundamental legal principles and protects individual rights from excessive government control. The debate is not just legal or political, but deeply social, touching on broader questions about fairness, justice, and the balance between security and freedom in modern society. Media coverage has intensified, with analysts highlighting the far-reaching implications of the decision and its potential to reshape the legal landscape. The ruling may also influence how other countries approach similar issues, making it a significant development on the global stage. Looking ahead, the long-term consequences of this ruling could be profound, not only for Australia but for immigration systems worldwide. The decision has effectively set a new legal benchmark, forcing policymakers to rethink how they manage individuals who are released from detention but still subject to government oversight. It underscores the importance of ensuring that any restrictions imposed are both legally justified and proportionate, a standard that may now be applied more strictly in future cases. For the individuals directly affected, the ruling represents a major turning point, offering a chance to rebuild their lives with fewer limitations and greater personal freedom. However, it also introduces a level of uncertainty, as the broader policy response remains unclear and could lead to new forms of regulation. For the government, the challenge now is to develop a strategy that addresses public concerns while remaining consistent with the court's decision, a task that is likely to be both complex and politically sensitive. International observers are closely watching the situation, recognizing that the outcome could influence similar debates in other countries facing comparable legal and ethical questions. The case highlights the ongoing tension between national security priorities and the protection of individual rights, a balance that continues to evolve in response to changing legal standards and societal expectations. As discussions continue and new developments emerge, this story is far from over. The coming days and weeks will be critical in determining how the ruling is implemented and what it ultimately means for the future of immigration policy. One thing is clear, this decision has already made a lasting impact, sparking conversations that will likely continue for years to come. For more global breaking news and major updates like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for our next report.